goodness, good morning, Knights. You're back with us today. Thank you so much. We are so excited to see you. Well, welcome back to Bible Storytelling at the Castle.
Well, good morning. We are so glad you're here. What a wonderful story we have to tell you today as we search for more of the king's armor.
On yesterday's quest for the knight's armor, we explored the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they showed us the way to the belt of truth. When we stand for what is good and true, we're standing for God's way. Today we have another story of another quest for the armor of the king's armor, and that is the breastplate of justice. Before we ride out, let us prepare our hearts with a banner verse from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Be strong in the Lord and in the strength of this power. Can you say it with me? Be strong in the Lord and the strength of his power. Thank you. See you in a few.
Everyone loves an underdog, and David and Goliath is the ultimate underdog story. On one side is Goliath, a man who was more than 9 feet tall. He was a giant. On the other side stands David. He was just a shepherd boy holding a sling and some stones. But why were the two fighting in the first place?
Well, Goliath's people were the Philistines, and they were the enemy of David's people, the Jews, the Israelites. Now, it was common for armies to choose a representative to fight one another. A win for an army's champion was counted as a win for the whole nation. Israel's problem was that no one wanted to fight Goliath. Even King Saul was not brave enough to fight Goliath.
In the midst of this standoff, David presented himself as a representative for Israel. David was an unlikely hero. The youngest son of Jesse, David was no fighter, unless you count the wild animals he would fight to save his father's flocks. Saul tried to persuade David not to face Goliath, but he eventually allowed it and gave him his personal armor to wear. David was just a boy, so the armor was much too cumbersome and big. Instead, David went into battle with just a slingshot and 5 smooth stones.
In the fight between David and Goliath, the old saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, proved to be true. Goliath tried to intimidate David, but he was unsuccessful. Goliath came at David with insults, the tactics of a bully. David came with the power of God. The Lord owns this war, and he will hand all of you over to us.
The battle was swift. David swung his sling, launching one smooth stone into the air. The stone landed on Goliath's forehead, and Goliath fell to the ground. This story marked the beginning of David's reputation as a leader and a warrior.
Now, David didn't have any physical armor to wear. Instead, he was protected by a sense of justice and righteousness. For David, the insults about his size were taken on the chin, but what really bothered him was that the name of the Lord was being insulted. Goliath stood as a threat to David's family, his neighbors, and his God. Be strong with the Lord and in the strength of his powers. If you remember yesterday, we talked about truth with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And today we're talking about justice. David served God's justice to the Philistines.
What in the world? Who's at the castle?
It's me, Knight Asher, in my Justice League jersey. Who do you think it was? One of the Avengers? I bring today's castle call out, armor up with justice. Just like David did when he took out Goliath.
That was a breastplate of armor of justice, not a League of Justice jersey.
Well, armor is good and all, but Goliath wore armor, and you know what happened to him. David, however, was the original Justice League. No armor needed, and lots of God's superpowers.
Let's see your jersey. Let's show off your jersey.
Wow.
Wow,
They are strong.
They are very strong.
Yeah, thanks. Wow.
Okay, bye.
You know, bullies can sometimes make us feel really small and alone. In fact, bullies pick on people oftentimes who appear to be alone. Who were the bullies in this story? Do you remember? Oh, that's right, Goliath, yeah.
Right, you are correct. And Goliath was bullying the Israelites. He was insulting them and their God. Goliath was humongous, bigger than big. But one person who believed in God's justice went out and faced Goliath. Who was it? That's right.
David, yes, you're right. Good job.
Many people read the story of David and Goliath and think, see there, David stood up to Goliath. He bonked Goliath right in the head with a stone, and he saved the day. David saved the day.
True.
So we always should stand up to bullies.
True. But you know what? Sometimes when somebody stands up to bullies and they're smaller, that person gets clobbered. So, we have this bully, Goliath, and we have the one who is being bullied, David, and the Israelites. And we have someone who really stood up to them, and he risked bodily harm, and that was David. Please tell me who else was part of that story. God, of course. Thank you.
Jolly good, brilliant young knights. David wasn't alone at all. God was there showing us, just as God does so often, the best way to handle the situation. God didn't stand against Goliath so much as God stood with David. Did you know that by simply standing with another person, we can cut bullying in half? Isn't it amazing? We can cut bullying in half without throwing a single stone.
Wow. So I guess, Poppy, it's not about who you stand against, but it's about who you stand with and what you stand for.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Who will stand for someone else? Will you stand together for something you believe in, for justice? Wonderful job, Knights. All right, let's end up with our castle call out for today. Armor up
for
with
justice.
Good
Huzzahs.
job, huzzahs. Now, boys and girls, you got a bag, and I want you to go to your bag, and I want you to pull out 5 stones and your marker. And I need you to be very careful with that marker because it will stain everything you touch it that touches it.
When David faced Goliath, it wasn't the 5 stones that were smooth that made the difference. It was God standing right there with David, right beside him.
All right, I want you to pick up your first stone, whichever one you like the best. Okay? And I want you to get your marker. Can you open it up? Be careful. Then I want you to write your name on the stone. Just any way, however you can put it. And if you can't get your name on it, you can put your initials, whatever you can fit on there, just so we know that stone represents you. Now what I want you to do on the other 4 stones is to write names of people that you know will stand up with you and for you. It could be anybody. Think about it. Well, maybe if you're having a hard time thinking about it, you know, you could put God's name on a stone. And you could put Jesus' name on a stone. And you could put Poppy's and my name, because we're going to stand up for you. You could put your best friend, someone in your family. Goodness, you have so many people that are going to stand up for you. Okay. Oh, you're doing such a good job of writing names on stones. That's wonderful.
Remember to mark all 5 of your stones. Remember, you are not alone. No matter what challenges life brings, you are known and you are loved. Take these stones with you. Put them near your bedside, or maybe even in a garden or a special place outside. You can rearrange the stones however you like. When one of your friends or one of your family members needs to be the center stone, surrounded by the love and prayer of others, put that stone in the center so they will feel very special and very loved. Now, let's go to our prayer for today.
Okay, today's prayer, boys and girls, night, excuse me, I forgot what century I was in. Today's prayer is call and response prayer. I will pray my part, and you will respond by saying, God is standing with me. God is always there. Can we try your part, and let's do it together?
God is standing with me. God is always there.
Awesome. Let's say our prayer. In the morning, warm and bright. In the middle of the night,
God is standing with me. God is always there.
when my heart is full of song, or when I put my shoes on wrong,
God is standing with me. God is always there.
when I'm leading in the race and when I'm running in last place,
God is standing with me. God is always there.
In my classroom, church, or home, with my friends, or on my own,
God is standing with me. God is always there. Amen.
Thank you for coming and joining us today, Knights. It was such fun having you, and we'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.